a lot of the document's been censored at the moment, isn't it? I mean, you took a vote in Parliament on agreeing for it to go ahead, but then nobody actually saw the evidence, and most scientists are sceptical about the fact that fracking is bad for the environment, and unlocking the natural gas that is in the ground is going to damage the environment. I mean, there are a lot of sceptics, obviously, but then the majority of climate change specialists are actually saying that we can't unlock any more oil in the Arctic, we can't go and unlock any more shale gas, we can't burn any more coal. So, you know, I understand what you're saying about the kind of the safeguards, but at the end of the day, then it is likely that it shouldn't happen.
I do hear what you say, and I do have a lot of time for the sort of campaigns that Guardian's running, keep it in the ground. I suppose the reason why, you know, we need to look at the evidence, we need to have those safeguards in place. That has to be the test, right? Is this going to add or actually lessen climate change? Because the alternatives at the moment are, as we know, not just renewables, because we know that solar and wind energy is intermittent. I think we need to continue to invest in it, as I've said. But if the alternatives is coal fire power stations or burning gas in the conventional way, then we do have to look at lower carbon sources of energy. But we're not going to go headlong into it, as the Conservatives have done, without considering the evidence.
Poppy wanted to say something in response, and then we'll come to the gentleman.
Actually, this was in relation to the question that this gentleman put to Sarah in an email about fracking and other means of achieving what she says is the primary target, which is to reduce our carbon emissions. In her reply, Sarah Love, what you said was that the problem is, of course, finance and trying to balance all the conflicting pressures on the Labour government if elected. The point is that this shifting, this refusal to recognise that the real target is reduction of carbon, and not balancing some mythical books and cutting some, cutting an obsessional deficit. If you poured huge amounts of money into R&D and the implementation of new sources of energy and new batteries to store energy when it is intermittent, then we would be having a boom, and you wouldn't need to worry about the money, and there might be a sustainable future to live for. Will you make the commitment today? She's the only person liable to become an MP on this panel.
I'm really glad you said that. Because what Poppy said is absolutely true. I mean, with the greatest possible respect to the other speakers on the panel, it is true that the only person in this room who is likely to become an MP is me. Sorry, guys. Sorry, it's terrible news. I know. I saw your kind of big sigh. And it's true.
Proportional representation there.
Well,
yes.
I think the only other person in Finchley and Golders Green who's likely to become an MP, as we've said, hasn't shown up. So, on that score, I think simply by showing up, I'm winning. But Poppy is right. Poppy is right. You should hold us to account. But she's also right about another thing. It's true that in my response, and I do try and respond to all correspondence on fracking, I have mentioned the financial constraints that we're under. And this is one of the big differences between the Labour Party and the Green Party. There's a lot in the Green Party to admire. There's a lot in their campaigning and in putting green issues and environmental and social justice on the agenda to admire. But the difference between Poppy's position and mine, and the Labour parties and the Green parties, is that we have, as we've shown today, have to set out credible, costed plans to be a credible opposition to get the Tories out and govern the country. And it is absolutely responsible that I should mention finance and economic stability. It's absolutely responsible that we should have a deficit reduction plan which goes hand in hand with tackling inequality and environmental justice, and I make no apologies for that whatsoever, because what I hope is that on the 8th of May, with people like me winning in seats like Finchley and Golders Green, we will be the party of government. And that's the difference between being a very, very important pressure party and being a party of government.
So Richard wants to respond, but perhaps in your response you could also respond to what the gentleman was saying about what's being said